Now I'm going to show you how I make my solid granny square. And this time I'm going to use the method where we make a slip knot. This is how I make my slip knot. I take the black loop over the front loop, knot off my finger, and then I take the new back loop over the second new loop and take it over my finger like so. And we have a slip knot, so we can start our chaining. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. I'm now going to join those 3 chains with a slip stitch by going into the first chain we crocheted and working a slip stitch. Now you'll be able to see right in the center there, and it's tiny, just here. Look, I can put my crochet hook in it just to try and make it a bit bigger. There, and there we have our little center space, and it is small, I know. You could try chaining 4 if you wish. Now we're going to chain 3, and now we're going to work 2 trebles into that center space that we've just found or just created. And as we go around, we need to make sure we catch the tail end in with our crocheting. So we now have our first chain 3, which counts as our first treble, and then another 2 trebles. So that's 3 trebles. We're going to create a corner space by chaining 2. And then we're going to treble, this is UK terminology, 3 trebles again into that very same centre space. That's very important, make sure it's the same space. So that's our second group of 3 trebles, and we're going to create a corner again. So we chain 2 and another 3 trebles into that very same space. It's much easier to identify now. And now we're going to chain another 2 to make another corner. And then our final group of 3 trebles into that very same centre space. So now we have 4 groups of 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to join our square together. Now we've chained 2 chains in each corner so far, and you can do that again, but I actually prefer to chain 1 because I find the joining with a slip stitch makes the space quite big enough. So we're going to crochet into the 1 to the 3rd chain from the top, the final chain we crocheted at the beginning, the top of the 1, 2, 3, and we have a little square. Now this is going to be a solid granny, and it's also going to be a reversible granny. So we're going to turn our work, and we're going to find that corner space. So we have 3 trebles there, 3 trebles there, and the space in between is our corner space. and we're going to slip stitch again and chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and this is going to count as our first treble. We're going to crochet 2 trebles into that corner, so it's 1 more treble, and we have 2 trebles into that corner, and we're going to finish that corner when we come round the other way. So now we're going to work into the top of each of these trebles, the next 3 trebles. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to work into that the top of the first treble, 1, into the top of the next one. Make sure you've got the 2 strands of the stitch, into the 3rd treble, and we come to the corner space again. So we're going to work 2 treble into that corner space, and to create a corner we're going to chain 2, and we've created our first corner. And again we're going to work into the top of each of the next, oh, there's a piece of hair stuck there, that's no good, into each of the next trebles. So yarn over, and we're going to work another treble into the top of the first treble, the 2nd treble, and please remember that I'm using UK terminology. So a treble is UK, but in US that's a double. We've come to another corner and we're going to work 2 more trebles. And to form the corner again we're going to chain 2. And another 2 treble into that very same corner space. There we are. And so we're going to work 1 treble into the top of each of the next trebles of the former row. And then 2 more trebles into the corner space. And to create the corner, again we're going to chain 2. And another 2 treble into that corner space. And we're coming along our final side now, so we need to work 1 treble into each of the next trebles again. Coming up to that last one, Can be a little bit difficult to see. And now we need to finish off the corner we started earlier on at the beginning. So we need to do 2 more trebles into that corner space. And then to join the square, because it's the last corner of our square, and because we're going to be joining with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 3, I'm only going to chain 1 rather than 2 in that final corner, because otherwise I feel that that corner just is too big and looks out of proportion to the other 3 corners. As you can see, that's really quite large and is about the same size as the others. So that's 2 rows of our granny square. And now we're coming to the 3rd row of our solid granny square, and it's a reversible granny square. So we're going to turn our work. We're going to find the corner space, which is between the 2 groups of 2 trebles, and we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. We're going to put another treble in that corner space, so we have 2 to make half a corner. And this time, instead of having 3 stitches to work into, we have 7. So we're going to go yarn over, and we're going to work a treble into the top of each of the next 7 trebles that we crocheted previously. That's 6 and 7. And we've come to our first corner space. So we're going to work 2 trebles, UK terminology, into that corner space. And to create the corner, we are going to chain 2. And now we're going to work another 2 trebles into that very same corner space. And as you can see, these 2 trebles into the corner space and the 2 trebles that will be in the next corner space will increase the number of stitches that you will need to chain into on the next round. So we have 7 stitches to work into on the next row on this side. Six and 7. So we count that row from the 2 trebles at the beginning of that row, which help form the corner here, and we've worked into the 7 trebles across here, and we're now going to work 2 more trebles into the next corner. So each row is increased by 4 trebles. So on our next round, that will be 11 trebles to work into. But carrying on with this round, we need to finish this corner by chaining 2 and then working another 2 trebles into that very same corner space. And now we're going to work along the top of the next 7 trebles. Oh. And the 7th stitch of that row, and we've come to the next corner, so we will create another corner by working 2 trebles into that corner space, we would chain 2 and we work another 2 trebles into that corner space. And now we're going to work our final row of 7 trebles into the next 7 stitches. And treble number 7. And we've come to our final corner, and if you remember, we started that corner off with 2 trebles, and now we need to finish that final corner off. So we need to work 2 more trebles into that very same final corner space as we have done before. And again, it's the final corner of the round, and I always chain 1 rather than 2 because we're going to slip stitch into the top, the 3rd chain from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and I always find that's enough to make the corner space. So you can see this is our lovely solid granny, and each row will increase by 4 stitches. So we worked 3 stitches to start with, 7 stitches in the second row, and this next row will be 11 stitches on each side of the square. And you carry on in that way and until you want to stop really. You may want to make a smaller solid granny square or a larger one. It's entirely up to you, but each row, each side will increase by 4 stitches at a time.